Hello and welcome everyone to the January 9th episode of This Week in Kirkland, the official podcast of the City of Kirkland, bringing you timely topics and noteworthy news delivered to you every single week. I'm your host, Jim Lopez, one of two deputy city managers here at the city, joined today by two members of our podcast team.
Kate Ryan.
And David Wolbrecht.
As well as our special guest, Heather Kelly, our emergency manager. Welcome, Heather.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Well, we're very excited to have you here. How was your holidays?
Great. Looking forward to 25.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
I hope you got some rest because
Sure. We'll call it that.
Hopefully it wasn't too intense.
yeah.
No. Fortunately, nothing really serious happened in Kirkland, so that's always
Yeah,
good.
because
Oh, there
rest
you
is
go.
a premium for your position.
Yeah.
In other words, you get it when you can.
You're kind of like always on call.
Yeah.
Is that,
yeah.
is that the,
Unfortunately,
that's the sense
yeah.
I get.
but-
Yeah.
We're going to talk all about that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're excited to hear about what an emergency manager does and more about you because you're a lot of fun and very interesting, of course.
It's true.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Tell all my secrets.
Yeah. And it's really good. You know, we're bringing in the new year. It's good to be prepared.
There
Why
you
not
go.
start the year
Oh, prepared.
prepared?
Very nice.
The
New
theme of
year, new
preparation.
plan.
Love it.
I don't know. It didn't quite work. Yeah.
We'll work on that.
All right. We'll workshop it. All right. Sounds
Well,
good.
so before we get into all our emergency management stuff, here is what we're covering this week.
A few announcements, including upcoming CPR and first aid classes and heat pump incentives.
Plus, donate blood and enter to win $3,000.
3,000.
Yeah. For your blood.
Yeah.
I mean, chance to win. And join the MLK Day of Service with the Green Kirkland Partnership.
I think the donate blood events have the best prizes.
Oh, yeah, they do.
It's
They're for real.
pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very impressive. And a reminder, everyone, as always, we have links and more information in the show notes for all of our items. And now our big story of the week. There is a rumor, David, that you can now text the This Week in Kirkland podcast with ideas and comments.
And questions. And any other points of feedback. It's true, Jim.
Yeah.
I'd like to confirm the rumor.
All right, let's
Yes.
confirm the rumor.
So, yeah, in your friendly podcast app of choice, there should now be, right above the show notes, a little link that says text the show.
Nice.
Yeah, so that'll just load up a text. It's this cool feature of the platform we're using, and we would love to hear from you. We've gotten some emails from listeners, questions, suggestions. Love that.
Kind of like our mailbag.
That's right.
Yeah.
The Twick mailbag.
Even
mailbag.
easier now.
Yeah,
Easier
even
now.
easier. Just text straight from your app. So check that out. To kick us off, we have a question actually for our audience at home.
Yes.
What was your favorite memory from celebrating this holiday season?
Oh, that's a great question.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Share some of the Kirkland favorites here on the podcast.
So text the show because now you
Can.
can.
There you go.
Well
Because you
Heather.
can.
Well done. So Northeast 85th Street and I-405 is closed this weekend, Kate.
Yep, that's right. The street itself, Northeast 85th Street, as well as off-ramps, will be closed all weekend from late Friday night to early Monday morning. It's a big milestone in the project.
Yeah.
WashDOT will finish setting the bridge girders for the new northbound I-405 bridge.
wow.
A link to detour maps and construction details, of course, in the show notes.
It is amazing to watch that be
Yes.
rendered in front of us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
slow and steady.
Yeah.
Going steady. Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Hey, have you ever wondered what to do if someone had a cardiac emergency right in front of you?
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
I'm sure Heather has had that.
We're starting our preparedness
Yeah,
now. This is the
preparedness.
There you
first
go.
step.
The
There
man that
you
starts
go.
early on this podcast.
That's right.
Well, let's talk about getting prepared, David.
Yes. The Kirkland Fire Department, in partnership with the Medic One Foundation, offers CPR AED, so it's automated external defibrillators.
Yeah.
Whew, gosh, that was a pop quiz
On
that
the
I almost
spot, yeah.
failed. Yeah. And first aid classes with hands-on training. So we have all sorts of classes up on our website. You can check it out, and of course, link in the show note. And you know, the real important thing is these classes help you feel confident if you are suddenly out in a restaurant or something, and all of a sudden someone starts experiencing a cardiac emergency. You would know what to do.
Yes. Hey, the last meeting of the Kirkland City Council was on Tuesday, January 7th. Here's what happened on the business agenda. The council adopted the 2025-2030 Transportation Improvement Program. The council also adopted amendments to the fire code and the municipal code. And the council received a special presentation on the Bike Valet volunteer program, which was really great.
Prior to the business agenda on the study session, Council received an update on the Houghton Village Development Plan and discussed amendments to the city code related to middle housing and residential zoning.
And of course, council meetings are streamed live on the city's YouTube channel, Facebook page, and website, and you can watch them after the fact.
Yeah, so check it out.
Yeah.
It's really good. Okay, looking to stay cozy while keeping your energy bills low.
Hey,
That's a win.
That is a
Yeah.
win.
Win-win. Well, we've got you covered, Kate.
That's right. You can join a free workshop on heat pumps at City Hall on January 28th to learn how to make your home more energy efficient. Attendees can qualify for rebates, contractor discounts, and the Energy Smart Eastside Fuel Switch
Yeah,
rebate.
good.
Yeah.
Take
Lots
advantage of
good
that,
information.
everybody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if you want to start the year off by making a big difference, and who doesn't?
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's
You're
definitely
going to make a difference,
yeah.
make it big.
I mean, let's go.
There
Let's
you
go.
And
2025.
and maybe even win big.
That's right. Ooh, I like
okay.
what good transition, Jim. So January is, you may not know this, January is National Blood Donor Month.
Yeah.
And donating blood, of course, helps people that need transfusions. We're talking cancer treatment,
Super,
surgeries,
super
trauma
helpful.
care. It's a big, big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can not only help save a life, but enter to win $3,000 by donating at City Hall on January 15th or 16th. And, start your year off right. Check
Yeah.
that off.
Check it off the list.
Off the 25 bucket list.
Okay, so hey, if you're looking for a way to honor, speaking of amazing people, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and give back, we have the perfect opportunity for you.
Yep, Green Kirkland Partnership on MLK Junior Day of Service will be doing park restoration events. That's all weekend long, actually, January 17th to Monday, January 20th. You can join in. All ages and experience levels are welcome. Just register ahead of time.
Yes,
Awesome.
that sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you got a Christmas tree still hanging around?
No comment, but actually no.
Well, if you do have a tree hanging around and you need a plan to let it go, we're going to, David, let's help people.
Yes. So this week and next, Waste Management will pick up undecorated, unflocked. That means no, fake snow on there. And real trees. So trees that grew out of the ground, not, aren't synthesized with plastic or whatever the artificial ones are made of. So you just need to place them by your cart. They should be 6 feet or less. Just cut them into 4-foot sections if you need. Otherwise, if you don't make it in time here for Waste Management to pick up, you will otherwise need to trim it down to get it into your yard waste bin.
You got to do the work.
You got to do the
Right.
work.
Yeah.
Waste Management's going to do the work for you if you do it this week.
Yeah, so it's a good deal. So take advantage of that deal, everybody.
Absolutely.
You need to move that tree. Hey, a couple of upcoming events for you to check out. What do we got, Kate, coming up?
Yeah, the Senior Council has a presentation on aging in place, construction, and remodeling on January 30th. That's a chance to learn how to make simple adjustments now to prepare for easy future modifications to your home.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah. And then on February 1st, we have the Lunar New Year celebration.
Oh,
that's
So
fun.
come celebrate the Year of the Snake with the whole community at Peter Kirk Community Center.
The year of the snake.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to find out all about what that means.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lunar New Year.
Can learn that at the event. Yeah.
And how great is our senior council?
So great.
So great.
Shout out to the Senior
Yeah.
Council.
Shout out. Yeah, they've got such great things
Yeah,
that they do for us.
and they do a lot with preparedness.
Do
I mean,
they?
We
Yes,
work
of
with them a
course.
lot too. This aging thing, and we've been out there. Yeah, the senior council is on it.
Very active,
That's
and they're a lot of fun. I love going to see them. And that brings us to our 5 over 5. And that's 5 questions in what is certain to be, and I think that's a statistically proven fact.
Yeah, 100%.
It's certain to be over 5 minutes with our special guest.
Yes.
Welcome, Heather Kelly.
So does that mean my challenge is to do it in under 5
No,
minutes?
Oh, the gauntlet has been
I
thrown.
don't know. That's just not fair.
Yeah, no.
And besides, we love going over 5 so we can give all this wonderful content to our listeners.
Yes. Yes. She,
Yeah.
heard, she heard the challenge and she wanted to
She
meet
wanted
the
to meet it.
challenge.
Yeah, but
I think, that's part of what makes you so great at what you do. Like
Exactly.
challenge, done.
Exactly.
I'm on it.
I can take care of that.
Absolutely. Well played, Heather. Well played.
Yes. Yes.
I guess like a standing New Year's resolution you could have is to be prepared.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Oh, yeah.
kudos to the producers for bringing like our chief preparedness officer in.
There you
How
go.
about that?
Well,
Yes.
and to all the activities the city's already doing. I mean, getting prepared starts with CPR, getting involved, giving blood, going to learn about, aging and adjustments you need to make in your home. you
Yeah.
know, all these different
Nice.
things. So the city's leaning forward and getting opportunities for people to be prepared.
Yeah, so true.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah.
Gosh,
Yes.
you should be like an emergency
Yeah, the manager.
professional or something.
Well, we're going to get into some fun stories and talk a little bit more in detail about what an emergency manager does. But before, well, actually, maybe let's just start with a quick overview of that. What's kind of the overview
What
of your?
do you
what
do?
do you do?
Which is usually the question when you say, I'm an emergency manager. People are like, what?
what?
Okay. And then, it's like,
neat.
no.
Yeah.
Here in Kirkland, one of the ways we're affectionately referred to is we're the junk drawer of the city.
Oh, no,
mean-
I've not heard that.
Meaning when somebody doesn't know what to do or where the answer is, they turn to us.
Yeah.
So a lot of what we do in emergency management is we solve problems or we get people together, coordinate. We know a person who knows a person that can fix the issue.
Yeah.
And then when we don't have issues, we're thinking about issues and planning for them and training to them and getting things in line so when the issue happens, we're in a better spot to address it and kind of work through it.
Yeah, that's kind of a great definition. I mean, and it's a superpower.
Absolutely.
It's a superpower.
Oh my gosh.
Fixing,
sure.
solving, thinking creatively, thinking out of the box, getting things done. And of course, all of that is like mission critical when you're in the middle of an emergency.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy my job when things are all nice and happy and good. But when we're in an incident, when something's happening, that's
Yeah.
where I drive.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm in the mode
You're in the
now.
mode.
Decision making and fixing and making life better for the people involved. That's our goal.
Yeah, there's a movie, Apollo 13. Did you guys see that movie?
Classic.
There's
I think
like
I
one-
referenced it the
That's-
other day,
yeah.
actually.
Yeah. There's like an all-time great scene in that movie where they have to, fix it on the fly.
There's a few of those scenes, I
scenes.
think.
And they're taping the, the
Tubes to the
tubes
thing,
and
yeah.
people are solving
Yeah.
the crisis in the moment and they're doing math in real time, which is
Dangerous.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
So mine on that is The Martian.
Oh, The Martian, yes.
I love the line where he says, "I'm going to science the out of
Yes.
this."
Yes. That was a good movie.
That's a good movie. It's the same thing. It's
the
problem
same
solving.
thing. Yeah.
You're in a bad situation. How are you going to get out of it? And that's what preparedness is all about.
I don't know. Maybe we send you over as a token of our appreciation for coming on the show. Maybe we send over some NASA badges to emergency management.
I
You
love
know?
to fly, but I like the ground.
Fair enough.
So, Heather, how did you
Yeah.
come to this position? How did you come to the city?
Well, it's like probably your story and
Yeah.
many others is city manager Kurt
Kurt
Triplett
Triplett. Yeah.
made a
We
phone
follow
call.
Kurt around. Yeah.
We do. I had worked with him at King County when I was doing emergency management there, and he was in the executive's office, and he heard I was going on leave to take a break and do a career change
Yeah.
from Snohomish County, and he's like, "I hear you're available.
Yeah.
We need some help."
We need you. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. When
So,
was this?
2017. So I
Okay.
came in as a contractor
Yeah.
just to help with a document,
Okay.
and he's like, "Yeah, you're staying,"
Okay.
and it's the best decision I've ever made.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful to
Nice.
hear. And we feel the same. I mean, thank you. And, it is a common path. Like Kurt Triplett is kind of
He's a magnet.
He's the magnet for all of us. So,
Yeah.
okay, well, great. So you've been here since 2017. I do remember that. Do you have a favorite thing about the city?
I'm going to go retro on you here
Oh, all right.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
okay.
because this is home for me. I grew up as a kid in Woodinville when Woodinville had nothing.
I did not
Oh,
know
yeah.
that.
So
Wow.
we came to Kirkland to go shopping at Totem Lake at Lamont's and Ernst.
Lamont!
Yes. We came to Juanita Beach in the summers because we had nothing. This
Yeah.
was like my sister worked at the movie theater
Oh,
at
nice.
Park Place.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like old school. So
Yeah.
every time I drive in, it's like, oh, I remember. It's
Yeah.
just,
Oh,
it takes me
yeah.
back to my childhood.
Oh,
so
that's great.
I love it.
You get to relive that.
Yeah.
I mean, we all love the movies, and it's always a wonderful experience to go to the movies. But when you go to the movies when you're a kid, like really,
Oh, yeah.
it's
Magic.
magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a magical experience. So
I mean,
thinking,
it is kind of magical for me these days because there's these reclining seats
Oh, I know.
now.
kids don't know how good they got it.
I mean,
I know, right.
I know,
Honestly.
yeah. Like I was like, oh yeah, we had to sit up straight when I was a kid.
No.
Yeah.
You go to the movies now. It's the lap
Yeah.
of luxury.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like I'm floating.
Yeah,
in
you're
space.
floating,
yeah.
and you've got all the
And,
armrests.
and they're heated,
Heated,
and you don't have to
li-
kick the seat in front of you.
Oh.
And yeah,
Totally.
Wow.
Anyway,
nice.
well,
Yeah.
that's amazing. I love
Yeah.
that you mentioned Ernst.
Ernst.
Yeah.
I know you remember those things.
I
Well,
do, and Le Mans. And
we used to launch our boat at Marina Park
Oh, yeah.
and putter over to Carillon Point and watch the Seahawks do training and practice
that
on
right?
the waterfront. Yes.
Wow.
That is
Yeah.
awesome.
I mean, that's really old school,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, the fireworks, you
Love
launch the
that.
boat and you watch the fireworks in the bay. It was just, so it's a lot of good
Yeah.
childhood memories that
Yeah.
I
Right?
enjoy.
So
Love
great.
that. Love that.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the craziest call you've ever gotten? And I'm thinking like something that made you do a double take.
Yeah. So one disaster I was working, I got a call from, actually, it was the front receptionist that says, there's 2 FBI agents here to talk to you.
Was this in Kirkland?
Oh.
No,
No.
not in Kirkland.
Oh, in person.
In person.
Whoa.
And I was just like,
Excuse me?
first thought, right? What did I
Like,
do?
yeah.
Wait a minute. What
I'm
did I
glad I'm
do?
not the only one that thinks that when there's
Yeah,
zero things I've done. But
Right, exactly. And so I was like, okay, they want to speak to you in private. I'm like,
Oh, boy.
you know,
Wow.
so hi, yeah, this is me. I had to show ID to
Yeah,
prove
yeah.
I was who I was.
now,
I
did
mean,
they have to show their ID?
they did.
I know, really.
They,
Well,
I was like, come on.
yeah,
That's
they did
fair.
the flip badge,
Yeah.
and I looked at it kind of close. But yeah, and so, you know, they were investigating. You know, this is one of my who would have thunks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we have disasters and people get assistance from the federal government to
Yeah.
recover and respond, well, one of those individuals took that money and used it as seed money for a drug ring.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
gracious.
Holy
Are you kidding?
cow.
I'm not kidding.
So they were investigating
That.
The money trail.
the money
you always
trail
follow the
on
money.
trail.
Follow the
But
money.
you know,
yeah, yeah.
I think that's a big thing of emergency management, right?
Yes.
Fraud associated with funds
Absolutely.
in an
Yes.
emergency.
Yes. So the message to be prepared: one, have your own set of cash so you're not dependent on this.
Yeah.
But two, if you get federal dollars or grants or any
Yeah.
of that
Gotta be
stuff,
accountable.
it's tracked.
Yeah.
And use it
Yeah.
what it's supposed to be used for. Yeah. So the individual was under arrest and they were looking for more evidence, and I had all the documentation and paperwork on how they got their seed
yeah.
money.
There
So
you go.
Wow.
Okay.
that's where I got involved.
Wow.
Wow, what a story! I
Song.
tell you, we got a lot of money during the COVID emergency, and you know,
Yes.
we just spent a boatload of time, accountability,
Yep.
paper
Yes.
trail, all
That's good to
all
do.
of the paper trails you need to disseminate funds. Big
It's not
deal.
free money.
Federal money actually
Right.
is some of the most expensive money.
Yes. yeah.
You got to do
From the
that.
tracking
lot
and the
of time.
work.
Yeah,
You
and
bet.
That's
I
right.
worked at HUD. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the wildest media call you've ever had?
Yeah. So when I was working the Oso landslide, happened in 2014.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was tragic.
Yes, absolute. The international interest in it. I mean, getting a call
Oh.
from Al Jazeera,
Whoa.
you know, wanting information from
wow.
Northern Ireland. It was like
Wow.
I'm doing
Oh,
interviews
Wow.
internationally,
Oh my
asking
gosh.
questions, and you know, everybody had their own take. Well, who caused it?
Yeah,
what
yeah,
was
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
problem? Versus what did you do?
Yeah.
You know, some were really trying to learn from it, and others were really looking for a story
Yeah.
that just
That
wasn't
wasn't-
there.
But still, that's circumnavigating the globe. with
Yeah,
that
I mean,
story.
it wasn't our local
No.
reporters, but I did not know their name for sure.
You know,
Yeah.
and, you know, going back to COVID, I'm kind of thinking of my experiences too. Like I remember during COVID, like of course, we were the epicenter, quite literally.
Yes.
And I remember getting a call from a producer at 60 Minutes, and I got a call from the Rachel Maddow Show, the producer from the Rachel Maddow Show. And you know, what's funny thing is Kurt Triplett, the city manager, was doing a live interview with CNN. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep,
Wolf,
remember.
Wolf Blitzer.
Yeah,
Yep.
Wolf Blitzer in the council chambers.
Well,
Like 2 days into this thing.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh wow.
well, and we at the time were like, oh, Kurt, you should have a City of Kirkland apparel
Yeah.
item.
That's right.
yes.
And the only thing we could find for him was a big fleece.
Fleece.
Like
Yeah.
jacket.
Kind of a
Yeah.
baggy fleece.
And so here he is in the chambers.
Yeah.
And like the
Was he overheating?
CNN lights
Yeah.
were just like blaring down on him. So he's just like sweating.
Yeah.
And then he's on CNN Live.
Yeah.
Like no, you can't mess
No
up.
margin of error.
But he nailed it.
He nailed it.
Well,
He
it's
did a
Kurt
wonderful
Triplett.
job.
He stuck the landing for
So
sure.
I don't remember how close in time and proximity it was, but so I was there staffing Kurt.
Yeah.
And my brother called. I don't remember how close in time, but he's like, "Hey, your boss is on CNN." I'm like, "Well,
Like,
good
I
tip."
actually know that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yes.
It was
I'm
great.
right
Nice-
off the camera.
nice of him to do that. Okay, so sometimes emergencies have you thinking, Heather.
Yeah.
Who would have guessed? Ever have any of those moments?
Far too many, actually.
Yeah. By the laugh,
Oh,
I think
gosh.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, and some of them are okay. You know, it's like, oh, well, we're going to do this. You know, we
Right.
exercised in 2024, look in
Yeah.
review, we exercised a wide scale power outage for the city to be prepared.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then here comes November,
That's
and
right.
the power starts going out, and I'm like,
Uh,
really? So I have a habit of testing and exercising what comes to be.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, I've been told I got to stop.
You got to stop that. It's
But-
like one of those things like don't jinx it.
yeah, just like please don't
do
zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
That would just be
Yeah.
that'd be
Right.
hard.
If you did
Yeah.
the zombie apocalypse, I would have to bone up on some movies and figure out what the response is.
yeah.
Although we would learn it in your session.
Well, yeah, but not happily use it. But I mean, then there's other times that you have moments where you're just kind of stop and shake your head. And one that kind of stands out was, 2 weeks into the COVID response,
Yeah.
full EOC, not knowing what's going on, turning into a global pandemic. And it was also the anniversary of the Oso landslide.
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
wow.
And it's like in
Yeah.
EM, you're lucky to have one life, one big incident, and to have two, and that close
In that
together.
short span of
Wow.
time.
Yeah, 6 years. It was just like, this is surreal. I'm not supposed to be doing this again.
Yeah.
But you do,
Yeah.
because that's what you got to do. You can't stop the world. It keeps going.
Yeah. No, that's well stated.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Heather, what's your most memorable experience? Kind of an experience that, gave you the chills.
Yeah. I mean, it's something that I think is more reflective. So the privilege we get of being first responders and being in some of these things is we sometimes get opportunities that others don't get.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
at one of the Homeland Security conferences held in New York City, fabulous. They can host an event, just saying.
Yes.
They brought in all of the first responders, police, fire, emergency management, and we did a private reception at the 9/11 memorial.
Oh, wow.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And it was one of those moments as, you watched on TV what happened. To now to be standing there, but I don't know if any of you have been in the memorial
It's
toured it.
moving.
It's moving because as you walk in, you go down a long ramp and it's dark
Yeah.
and it's quiet and it's very somber and the walls are made of reflective material. And it forces you to look at yourself in the mirror, and the pieces they have put together are just so well done. It was just one of those moments we all kind of stood there. Nobody really talked.
Yeah.
We just walked around and took it in. And for me, it reminded me why we do this.
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
not about
yeah.
the economy. It's not about even the government. It's about the community.
Yes.
And we're here for them, to serve them. And that was just probably one of those pivotal moments in my life where it's like, I get it.
Yeah. A visceral connection to the core purpose of what you do.
Yeah.
Right there in that
Yep.
moment. And it's,
And
Yeah.
it reinvigorated my passion
Yeah.
for emergency management. As I said, coming to the city, I was like, I'm taking a break, doing something different. Okay, Kurt, I'll help you out. This was a year or two after being at the city, and it was like, okay, I'm going to retire out of Kirkland. This
Yeah.
is my thing.
yeah.
And it was that But yeah, if you have not been to the 9/11
Go.
memorial, it is so
Yeah.
worth it.
Put that on the list of things to do when you're in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because my experience was with the wall in Washington, D.C.,
Yes, yes.
which was very solemn. That was
Yeah.
quite an experience.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to talk to you a little bit about that briefly, about how people might want to get into the field, because my expectation is moving forward there'll be significant demand for great emergency managers across the country, and maybe we could give
Yeah.
folks some insight if they wanted
Yeah.
to pivot into that career.
Well, and I think COVID really kickstarted that whole focus. Is
Right.
agencies that never thought about needing to do emergency
Yeah.
management, needing to do continuity, suddenly we're in the midst of having to do things. So
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. From private sector to public to everywhere you can imagine, emergency manager positions are popping up.
Heather, tell us about the most intense planning mission you've taken on.
Yeah. So when I was working at Boeing as the emergency manager at the Everett site, I learned what it meant to have a presidential visit.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah,
Whoa.
that's
That
big.
is not
I
an
mean, it-
insignificant endeavor.
Wait, it's not just a red carpet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Oh, okay.
To a lot of people, it's fun and ceremonial. To
Yeah.
others,
Yeah.
It's a
a
well,
lot
3
of
months
work.
of-
Yeah.
no,
long
it's
hours.
not 3 months. That's the whole thing. You get about 2 days notice.
Oh.
The presidential schedule is kept extremely limited and tight. So,
Yeah.
you
Like
hear,
security
the
pers-
president or the vice president's coming to the area, but you don't know, neither do the people they're coming to see.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow.
the Secret Service drops in and you get a briefing and you get told what you have to do, and you are now under them and doing your work for them for about 40. I don't think I slept for 48
Oh,
hours.
I believe it.
It was great.
Jeez.
But it's also, you're in their world, so you can't talk to other people. This is confidential
Yeah.
kind of stuff, and it was complex. I mean, think of a factory. We have to clear and secure a factory,
Oh, yeah.
and so from that aspect, it was phenomenal,
Yeah.
and it was intense, and it was great. But working with the Secret Service,
Yeah. So you're kind of like delegated to the Secret
yep,
Service. You're
you
like,
are assigned to the agent in charge.
yeah, you're put on the Secret Service
Yep.
team, basically.
And your job is to tell the venue, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to. Well, why?
Wow.
I can't tell you why. I'm
Yeah,
just
that's
telling
right.
you you
Just
have
You
trust
just
me.
have
Oh my
to do
gosh.
this.
You're going to have to take my word for it.
Yeah, I was told we have to do this. We're
Yeah.
doing it.
Oh my gosh.
Which was intense. And then the fun story on this one is President Obama came,
Yeah.
did his speech. I mean, we had to be working this stuff 2 a.m. He didn't talk till like 10. People had to be there and cleared to come in the audience. You know, that was hand selected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like sit there for 4 or 5 hours waiting
Oh,
for
my
his
goodness.
arrival. Little kids and stuff. So he does his spiel. And he steps off the stage and he sees some kids, and this is the moment I'm like, oh, this is why
This is
I'm
why
so
I've been
proud
here
to be
for-
an
right,
American.
that's right.
He reaches over and he goes, "Come here, let's get some pictures with the kids. They don't get it now, but someday this
They
will
will.
matter."
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, that's so
That's so
human,
great.
right?
Yeah.
And then I watch him lean over to his agent standing next to him, and I'm standing next to the lead agent, and he just puts his head down and shakes. And I was like,
Oh.
and he goes, "He's walking." So we had it set
Oh,
up that he was.
he started. He went off script.
He went on.
He went off script.
It's what we'd like to call an audible.
An audible.
We know
He
what
called-
it's like to
that's
work
right.
with someone that
That
calls
calls an audible.
audibles.
The agent shook
Yeah.
his
Yeah,
head.
the lead agent
Oh,
shook
was
his
just
head.
Like, oh no.
Yeah, because he was
Oh,
supposed to
shoot.
get in the vehicle and drive down the factory, but
Yeah.
he's like, he can see now. We're just gonna walk.
Yeah.
Oh
it's
my
like,
goodness.
So I said, "What's wrong?" He goes, "Audible."
Audible.
He does this, and as I was thinking about coming on, I'm like, "Gee, I know someone, Jim, that
Yeah.
likes to call
I've
audibles."
called an audible in my day.
So
Did you get to meet him?
yes, kind of, sort of. We didn't
Yeah.
get the picture, but we did get the handshake.
Oh.
So, but
Wow.
I mean, just the experience of being able to look inside the presidential limo and actually touch the seat and
So cool.
kind of see it was very
Yeah.
cool.
And those things
Yeah.
are like spaceships.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, they call it the Beast.
The Beast.
And it's
Yeah.
it was So just seeing that, and then Air Force One was there. So while
Cool.
the president was off doing something else, they ran us through
Yeah.
a quick loop. So that was amazing. But
Wow.
well, that's a good
Yeah.
segue to my next question.
sure,
Your favorite, other than the Beast, your
Yeah.
favorite piece of equipment that you've encountered in the amazing world of emergency
Yeah.
management?
I mean, the Beast and Air Force
Yeah.
One.
Come
Kind of
on,
hard to
it's
beat.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. But I gotta say, I love it when I get to go up in the helicopters, whether
Yeah.
it's Guardian One or
yeah.
Skyhawk or contracted. I mean, those things are. I love to fly in helicopters. I tell the
Wow.
guys, the pilots laugh at me. I put the helmet on, I strap inside with doors open. It's like, oh no, I want to
Yeah,
see
yeah,
it.
that's great.
Let's do this.
I love helicopters,
Yeah.
and so I've had that opportunity with some things in King County, Snohomish County, and Hawaii when Kilauea,
wow.
and there was some recovery. I got to go do a flight over, the damage area. It's just you get a whole different perspective,
Yeah.
and I know nowadays with drones or UAS, there's a little of that. But
Yeah.
for me, there's nothing like the wind and being up there
Oh,
and
yeah.
just
Good for
checking
you.
it out. So
You know, I have a helicopter story.
I thought you were going to say you have a helicopter. I was like,
No.
Jim.
I was gonna say.
Why am I just learning this?
We have a hero in common, Ron Sims,
Mm-hmm.
right? Both worked for Ron.
Yes.
So back when I was working for Ron, we took a helicopter to see the county. He
Yes.
was the King County executive.
Yeah, I was
And,
like,
yeah, he's
for
my,
our avid listeners.
Yeah. At
at
which
home.
point in his life?
Yes.
Yeah.
one of the longest serving.
Yeah.
Just an amazing human being. Anyway, so we go up in the helicopter, and it was great for me for the first 10 minutes. And then for the rest of the trip, I was like, can I make it without getting
Getting
motion
sick.
sick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not proud of that, everybody. I made it.
Hey,
it.
be proud of
I'm
that.
proud
Yeah.
of
There
that.
you go.
Yes.
And the views were really amazing.
It's a totally different perspective, but it is also, it's not like being in an airplane and looking down because you're the dot moving. It's very different, but I haven't been successful at getting Kirkland a helicopter.
We'll have to do a helicopter something.
A helicopter something. Okay, sounds good.
No,
Yeah.
let's be clear. Not for me.
Okay.
That's something I will take a pass on.
Yeah.
Well, maybe on the podcast you could have the live report from the helicopter.
Helicopter, yeah. Kate Ryan reporting in from. That's right. Now we have a fun Ron Sims story because I
Yeah.
went to watch. Speaking of President Obama,
Yep.
Ron was appointed. He was the deputy secretary of HUD, appointed by President Obama.
Yep.
And I went with Ron. I was his senior advisor. I was kind of like his chief of staff for the deputy. It was really an amazing period of time. And you came to visit us.
I did. It was one of those things like we get out to DC as an EM and, there's a lot of things happening, but this was the first time it's like, I know somebody in a cool spot.
That's right.
And it was working on a project. So I thought, well, I'm going to try.
Yeah.
And made an appointment. They welcomed me. It was my first experience going into like a big federal building
wow.
and dressed up and everything. And I remember, we know Ron, he's
Yeah.
just a people person, walking into the reception area. And he walks out in his jeans.
Yeah. That's
I know.
Yeah,
and arms. Here I dressed up. I was all worried about what I looked like. And his arms were wide open, greeted me with a hug, brought me in. We sat,
yeah.
we chatted. And it was
yeah.
just like, just because you go to DC doesn't mean it always changes who you are.
Yeah.
I just thought that was so cool.
no, and that was thank
That
you for
is.
saying that because that is so true about Ron. We were all wearing suits every day.
Every day.
Not Ron.
Ron had his own
He
suit.
had his own sense of style, and it was awesome, by the way.
It worked.
Yeah, it totally worked. Now, I have a very quick fun story because when we were there, one of the perks of being there and being a political appointee is when really cool things happen from your city, like the Seattle Storm World Championship basketball team comes in to be honored by the president.
Oh,
You, the elected, the appointees get, invitations.
Wow. So they like track like, hey, you're from
Yeah.
Seattle.
Yep.
You might want to.
That is correct.
That's
So
wow.
cool.
the president invited Ron and 2 plus ones
Ron
to the
plus
White
2.
House. Yeah, Ron plus 2. And I was one of those plus 2s.
Yeah.
Wow.
So me and another staffer, wonderful person, we went. Ron, when we got there, they took him off to, I think, meet the president. Like he went to the
Sure.
because they were gonna.
'Cause
They were
he's-
preparing with.
yeah.
I think Sue Bird was back there.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
and they were preparing to come to the podium. It was in the Rose Garden, but they left us in the portrait room.
Oh, I hear there's a lot of pictures.
There's a
in
lot of
there.
pictures. in
Okay.
there. But the fun
Old
thing is, they just left us there.
They're like, okay,
ah.
Yeah.
bye.
But, so me and the staff are like, we're having a ball. We're walking around looking at all the portraits. It's awesome. And in comes most of the Seattle Storm basketball team.
Oh my gosh.
I swear to God.
You felt short.
Oh my God. They're amazing, amazing athletes. So somehow we found our way to the Rose Garden. And Mike McGinn was the mayor of Seattle at the time. Mike was there. And Larry Gossett was there.
Yeah.
From the, those are
Council.
the people that I remembered. I sat with them.
Wow.
It was such a great experience. So, hey, get into public service.
Absolutely.
You may find yourself in the Rose Garden celebrating the amazing Seattle Storm.
Hey. Wow.
There you go.
It is. You never know where your path is going to take you or who
Yeah.
you're going to connect with. That is for
sure.
sure.
Which is a great segue to my last question, which is, well, it seems like every time I'm the acting city manager, when Kirk goes out of
Yes.
town and Julie and I rotate this,
Yes.
it seems like something happens, Heather. And I'm like, I have it in my contract now that if I'm acting, Heather needs to be on duty.
Yeah.
Like we've had,
Yes.
what if we had social unrest?
Social unrest.
I think the bomb cyclone. Right?
Yeah, the windstorm.
Windstorm.
Yeah, and IT disruption.
IT disruption.
Oh, that's right.
So, but that's true. And you have always been amazing. You know, you and I were huddled up and
Yep.
doing our thing. So I have enormous esteem, both for you and the position. How would somebody who wants to get into emergency management, advice would you give them?
Yeah, I mean, that's the question I get most often after doing this for so long. And the truth is, the best emergency manager is a generalist that has experience.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can get a degree in emergency management, you can Homeland Security, communications. There's lots of degrees out there. But if you only have the book side and you don't have any experience, you're probably not going to be as successful as if you had both. So, getting involved with volunteering, whether that's in your community, whether it's with the Red Cross or it's a FEMA reservist or some other place,
Yeah.
get some real world experience. And it doesn't have to be Katrina. It
That's
doesn't
great
have to be
advice.
these huge things.
Yeah.
Right.
But you got to partner both of those, and you got to commit. Being an emergency manager, you hit on it, on call, right? It's long hours.
Yes.
It's random times. We don't get weekends and holidays off. I mean, the IT disruption occurred on my birthday, so I was like, well, so much for that party.
It truly is a commitment to work
Yeah.
at any time.
Yes,
Right.
it is. And being prepared at any time. So, but I mean, yeah, no, there's lots of ways to get involved and get engaged. And it's education and experience makes the best emergency manager.
Well, that's great advice. Is there
Yeah.
a book you would recommend?
There's a lot of them out there, but one that I read as I was doing a leadership program is called You're It.
Oh,
It's
interesting.
by Leonard Marcus, and it's several different examples from, kind of day to day to big ones of you're standing there and everybody's looking to you for the answer.
Yeah.
You have to make the decision. And it just gives some positives about, hey, make a decision. You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Keep going. It was, for me, as even an experience as I am, it was kind of one of those like, oh, okay, this reminds me. At some point, everybody in their life is going to be on that hot seat, and you got to take an action and make a decision, or it's going to get worse.
Wow. Great stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so those wonderful people who have listened to our entire show,
Yes.
quick fire round, Heather.
Yes.
You ready?
Sure.
5 must-have items everyone should have in their emergency winter kit. Go.
Go. Food, water, some kind of shelter or warmth,
Oh.
ability to see, whether that's a flashlight and batteries or it's a phone with a charger, and then some way to communicate, have a plan on how you'll reach your family.
Great stuff. We should
Oh,
put that in the
yeah.
show notes.
Wow.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, that was really rapid fire. Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those phone portable batteries, whew, they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Super helpful.
Yeah. Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you for being on the podcast.
Thanks
That
for
was
having
super
me.
Yeah,
fun.
thank
It
you,
was awesome.
Heather.
Thank you all.
Maybe you'll come back. We'll tell some more stories.
We could do that.
Yes. Don't forget to sign up for a CPR class.
Yes, and that does it, everyone, for this week. You've been listening to This Week in Kirkland. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Special thanks to Anthony Girardi, Angela Brown, and Mike Connor for their behind-the-scenes magic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next episode is January 16th. Until then,
Stay
stay connected,
connected, Kirkland.
Kirkland.